Next up, this incredible candidate running in Nebraska. She's a nonprofit leader who's been working with people for years, and now she's running for Congress. I think she's going to win. Kara Eastman. And now we have the amazing Kara Eastman, who's running for Congress out of Nebraska's 2nd District, which I think includes Omaha. That's right? Welcome, Kara. Welcome to Yang Speaks. You and I met when I was campaigning in Iowa, because for those of you who aren't geographical experts, Iowa and Nebraska touch each other, like right there.
Yes, and I said this then, and you were the most inspiring political speaker I'd ever heard talk. So thank you for that. It was fun, and politics isn't always that much fun.
Politics is not that much fun, but you've been in the change-making line of work for a long time. You and I bonded over the fact that you also started and ran a nonprofit that did incredible work. In your case, it was a children's nonprofit based in Nebraska.
Yep, it's called Omaha Healthy Kids Alliance. It still exists, but I'm no longer there. I was hired to start it in 2006. And our focus was originally was eliminating childhood lead poisoning, and then eventually we grew into a green and healthy housing organization.
Well, your evolution is similar to mine in that you run a nonprofit and you see all these problems in our communities, and you think, wow, someone should really do something about that. And then you're like, I guess it might be me. Because after you work as a nonprofit leader, you kind of get a sense as to frankly, like the need for different solutions to solve the problems you're tackling every day.
That's right. Well, and these are problems that can be fixed because we have the resources to fix them in this country. We just don't have the political will.
Yeah, well, you're changing that. Tell us about your race in Nebraska for people who don't know that much about it. And also, and you can do this in order, when did you first hear about universal basic income?
Well, I heard about it from you on the campaign trail. So there's that. But yeah, it's an exciting race here in the 2nd District. All eyes are on us because in 2008, we gave an electoral college vote to Barack Obama. In Nebraska, we split our electoral college votes similar to Maine. And so we have that one that some people are saying could be the deciding electoral college vote. It's a little terrifying to think about, but could be true. And Biden is ahead in the polls, and as am I. And so we have a real opportunity to elect the first woman to serve the district. I'm running against a Trump Republican who's voted with him 93% of the time, and also to give that electoral college vote to get rid of Trump.
Wow, you are up. It is very hard to beat an incumbent. Tell us more. Like it sounds like, has this guy been in Congress for a long time?
He's in his 2nd term, and I actually ran against him in 2018 and came up 1.9% short in one of the closest races in the country. Wow. So we're back again, and we've given people 4 years to see him in action, and he's betrayed the district over and over again, and they're looking for somebody who's actually going to represent them.
Wow, you're gonna make that the comeback. It's like Kara, the return, like Rocky 2 a little bit. Like the first race was Rocky 1. And we all know what happens at the end of Rocky 2. Rocky wins, for those of you who haven't seen it. One reason why I'm thrilled to get you into Congress is that you are for cash relief during the pandemic, and someone who's worked with families the way you have, you would be for cash relief because you understand the good it would do in the lives of so many people in your district.
That's right. We have so many politicians in office, in particular on the Republican side, who do not seem to understand the needs of regular working people. And that, most of us are one economic shortfall away from total bankruptcy, total annihilation of our family. And if that's in the form of hitting a pothole and having your tires blow out when you don't have the money saved up to actually pay for that, which is challenging to do because it's expensive, or getting laid off from your job. And now we see this in the middle of the pandemic where so many people have lost their job and therefore lost their health care. So we need people in Congress who understand this. We need more working class people in Congress. The average net worth of a congressperson right now is $1 million. We need people who understand this stuff. And I've had the honor of working in nonprofit organizations for over 20 years. My worldview is framed by the clients that I've had the honor of serving, and I believe they deserve a voice.
So tell us about your race. I mean, you came within a hair's breadth of winning in 2018, and what are you seeing this time?
We're seeing a lot of change with independents in the district. About a quarter of the district are registered independents. We started our campaign this time by knocking doors of independents. In 2018, we knocked on 200,000 doors around the entire district. And so, and what we heard from independents this time was their number one priority was getting Donald Trump out of office. So when we have a congressperson who has so heavily aligned himself with Trump and with the Republican Party, Nebraskans are pretty independent. Look, we have a unicameral. We've actually been a prairie progressive state in the past where we had Democrats as our governor, as our U.S. senators. And I think a lot of people have seen that the Trump administration's failed promises have actually really hurt Nebraska, especially in terms of our agricultural economy and especially in terms of that tax bill, which we know was not for regular working people.
I agree with you that independents right now are looking up and saying, we got to turn the page for our country. Trump has to leave. And I think that's one reason why I am so pumped about your race and other races around the country, that you have a wind at your back this time that I don't think has existed in my recent memory. So we need to get behind candidates like you and make sure that you win.
I agree. Well, and when we look at 2018, people talk about, the fact that it was great that we flipped the House, but, 84% of incumbent Republicans in the House kept their seat. So I would not describe that as a blue wave, but I think that we can have that this time, expanding the House majority, flipping the Senate, and obviously flipping the presidency.
I'm optimistic about your race and many other races, Kara. I think the toughest thing is going to be after you all get to Congress is trying to get that institution working more efficiently and effectively than it has been in quite some time. But it starts with getting people like you in, having a nonprofit leader like you who's so close to your community in Congress, trying to craft policy would be such a quantum leap forward. And it is funny, like talking to you now, I think other people might have the same impression because, like you said, most members of Congress at this point are very affluent. A lot of them come from business backgrounds and backgrounds where they can plug into like a network of money. And you come from a very different background. It's very, very grassroots driven. The fact that a candidate like you is poised to make a bit of history, political history, it sounds like in Nebraska, is such a great sign for 2020. What would your top legislative priorities be after you get sworn in? Because you're going to win and you're going to get sworn in 2021.
Aside from, dealing with the pandemic in a responsible way that actually demonstrates leadership and prevents human lives from being lost, my two priorities are healthcare. Fixing our broken healthcare system. We have to start with lowering prescriptions. I'm running because my mother was prescribed a $2,500 pill that she couldn't afford to take. And I want to get money out of politics. So actually fighting corruption and reforming our system and doing things to stop the threats to our democracy, I think that that's incredibly important, probably now more than ever.
So many people agree with you on those priorities. I love them. It's economic relief, fixing our healthcare system, and getting money out of politics / tying our politics to people. My proposal, as you know, was give everyone 100 democracy dollars. So the goal would be to wash the corporate money out. So it's not even quite get the money out of politics. It's more like tie the money to what ordinary people think. Because right now, the number of people that donate to political campaigns, and if you're someone who's donated to a campaign, you should know that puts you in maybe 10% of Americans donate to political campaigns. It's probably risen this cycle, so let's call it 12, 14, but that's still highly unusual. So what could we get that percentage up to if everyone had $100? And then they said, I like Kara Eastman. I'm going to get behind her, and I've got 100 democracy dollars to do so. Like, what percentage do you think we'd get up to if everyone had 100 free dollars?
upwards of 80%. I mean, I think people would actually get engaged and get involved. And one of the things that struck me, and I don't ever hear anyone talking about this, so maybe we could, but when I first started running, they tell you like, go to your friends and family, ask for money, right? I did that. Like my friends gave me $50. It's wonderful.
Yep.
But like what they mean is go to your wealthy friends and family and go to corporate PACs. But when I started looking at the lists of people who donate to Democrats in our district, 99.9% of those people were white people. And it was shocking to me that we have so few people of color who give to political campaigns. So drill down that number even more, right? And we know that especially for wealthier donors, they often get prioritized. In my campaign, we run on a grassroots campaign. Our average donation is incredibly low. We have thousands of donors, but that's not typical. This is actually pretty different for a district like mine, and just different in general, because it's not just Republicans that have done this, it's Democrats as well. So we need to change the system.
Yeah, the numbers are very, very damning in this regard. So I said, let's say 10% of Americans donate, and those 10% are donating $50 because that's what a normal person would do. You know what I mean? If you drill down to people who donate over $250, which makes you like a more serious donor, that 10% drops quickly to like, I think it's 1%. And so, and you're looking at the top tenth of 1% that give like the max of 2,800 in a federal race. And so when you're given fundraising direction about running for Congress, you need to raise 1.6 million on average to be successful. And so if you do the math on that, like it's hard to get there on like $20. You need like a lot of people. So they expect you to go chase down the folks who can give you thousands. And that's the game. And we need to change the game so that you have more representatives that actually answer to people that aren't in position to give thousands of dollars.
That's right. And we shouldn't have candidates or elected officials spending time doing this. This is not you don't want your congressperson spending 6 hours a day raising money.
Well, you don't want that, but unfortunately it's the norm. Lawrence Lessig cited a study that said that members of Congress spend 30 to 70% of their work hours raising money. So that's 6 hours a day. Like that's not an exaggeration. That's not Kara just making it up. I mean, that's real. So Kara, if people want to get behind you and help push you to victory on November 3rd, where can they find out about you and how can they help?
EastmanForCongress.com, on Twitter at Kara for Congress, Kara with a K. Facebook at Eastman for Congress, or Instagram at Kara for Congress. And we can use all the help. We need money. We need volunteers. We need people just to spread the word on social media, whatever you can do right now.
The value that gets generated in the last number of days is like a lot of things in life where like a lot of the last mile value is the most important. So it's not too late to help Kara. Kara Eastman, Nebraska, 2nd District. Give, help, volunteer, text bank, phone bank, and we're going to be in position to celebrate Kara's victory. You're going to be such an incredible member of Congress, and I am pumped for it. I'm pumped to be a part of it.
Thank you. That means a lot coming from you. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you, Kara. Let's win.